So with all this movement, you will require blood vessels to transport the substances throughout the body system itself. So we have got three main ones: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Okay, so arteries, A here, so which means it carries blood away from the heart. Okay, and because the blood is being carried at such a high pressure, they require extremely thick walls to withstand the high pressure. Okay, the lumen itself is very narrow to enable the pressure to be high. Okay, if your lumen is big, the blood will flow at a much slower rate, much slower speed, because it has to occupy a larger volume. Okay, so almost all arteries except for the pulmonary artery will carry the oxygenated blood. Okay. Now, veins is carrying blood back towards the heart, so which means they are carrying deoxygenated blood. Okay. So because they are carrying back towards the heart, which means you are going against gravity. Okay. So how do you prevent the blood from flowing back downwards? Is they have these things which are called valves, and valves will help to prevent the backflow of blood. So which means blood will not be able to flow back down, since they are going against gravity, let's say from your legs all the way up back to the heart. Okay, so last but not least, we have got the smallest component, which is called the capillaries. Okay, so capillaries, because they have to slow down, okay, to enable substances to move into the cells themselves, which means they are only one cell thick. Okay, so thick, not thin. So let me just edit this part here. So this is one cell thick. Okay, so because they are only one cell thick, you have got a high surface area to volume ratio. So when we have got a high surface area to volume ratio, that will enable substances to move into the cells quicker, and at the same time, it will also enable your toxic substances, your waste products, to be removed away from the cells and to enter these vessels at a faster rate. Okay, so they carry blood from the arteries to the veins. At the same time, they will also connect the veins back to the heart. Okay, so if I were to draw it out, let's say this is my heart itself. Okay, I apologize for the very crude drawing. That's the best that I can do. Okay, I will use red to indicate oxygenated blood, okay, and blue to indicate deoxygenated blood. All right, so similarly over here, so from the left side of your heart, oxygenated blood will be pumped out. Okay, so once this oxygenated blood is being pumped out, they will enter into the arteries themselves. Okay, the arteries will gradually become slower, and they will give me my capillaries. Okay, so capillaries will be able to transport useful substances such as the oxygen, the nutrition that is from the digested food, into the surrounding cells. Okay, so once it enters into the surrounding cells, okay, so over at this junction, this particular capillary is going to allow substances to enter into my cells. Okay, so on the other end, what will take place is that I will have waste products such as carbon dioxide that is being removed, and carbon dioxide, etc., will enter back into the capillaries. Okay, so these capillaries will then connect back to give me my veins. Okay, notice that it is going up against gravity. Alright, so it's going back up against the gravity, which is why we require valves. Okay, so once it goes into the veins, these will then go back into the heart, and from the heart it will be transported to the lungs. Okay, so over at this juncture, it will go into the lungs. From the lungs, my lungs, the reoxygenation will take place again. So oxygenated blood will now enter back into the heart itself. Okay, and the process will repeat. Okay, I hope that is clearer. Alright, so what are the differences between arteries and veins? So as mentioned earlier on, the arteries themselves, they are used to transport blood that is away from the heart, because this is A and A. Okay, it is at extremely high pressure as compared to the veins, which is low pressure. Okay, so because it is high pressure, they require thick and muscular walls, whereas for veins is relatively thin and less muscular. Okay, so for the high pressure, they require a very small lumen. Lower pressure, I don't need a small lumen, so a larger lumen is good enough. Okay, now arteries have no valves because they are going with gravity. Okay, they are going downwards, but veins, we are carrying the blood back to the heart, so which means I will require valves to prevent the blood from backflowing. Okay, and these valves, they are called the semilunar valves.